Welcome everyone. Today we're taking a look at the GSDM002 dual monitor desk mount from Wali. We'll be unboxing it, going through the setup process, and at the end of it we'll give you our impressions of it, what we think of it, and how it works for our setup. If you're looking into getting a new monitor mount for your setup, hopefully this video can give you an idea of how this one might work for you. So let's dive on into it. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have here. This is the Wali monitor desk mount GSDM002. That's the model number for this one. It says, and it does specify most 17 to 32 inch monitors. I'm assuming the reason it wouldn't fit some of them would be probably the VESA mounts or possibly the weights, but it does specify most, but not all 17 to 32 inch monitors. It's apparently rated for 17.6 pounds times 2. I'm assuming that's the weight that each arm can hold. And it has VESA mounts, 75 millimeter and 100 millimeter, which is the distance between the holes for the screws in a square configuration, meaning the top one and the bottom one, and the top one and the left to right one are each 75 millimeters or 100 millimeters apart. Before buying this one, be sure that your monitor has those same VESA mount specifications, or else it probably won't fit on here. So the arms let you rotate at 360 degrees in case you want to put your monitor vertically. To some people, I guess if you do a lot of work with a lot of text editing or coding, that could be very useful as it's easier to read and you get more real estate up and down to be able to read text. It does tilt forward and back 35 degrees in case you want to mount one monitor above the other. It's better to be able to angle it down towards you. So that's pretty cool. I love that feature actually. Probably going to be using that quite a bit. And they do rotate laterally 90 degrees. So I do love that these are configurable in so many different ways that can move, have so much range of motion. It does have gas springs, which is good for heavier monitors, as you can tighten the tension or loosen it depending on how heavy your monitor is. And it does come with integrated cable management, which is good to keep the bundles of cords a little bit more out of the way. And one cool thing is that it does actually support curved monitors. If you're trying to go for a dual monitor setup and both of your monitors are curved, you can actually just put them and angle them close enough together so that you maintain that same curvature throughout both monitors. So now that we know what we're working with, let's crack this open, set it up, and see what we think of it. Alright, so we're unboxing this. We're going to see how this works for us. I'm actually excited for this because this also will help a lot with not just cable management, but the important thing is also desk space. As you can see, our home office doesn't necessarily have the most space. With a lot of people working from home, this can also be quite helpful. So I'm pretty excited to see how this works for us, how much more space this gives us. Here's the instruction manual. Not sure quite this is, but we'll open that up. Take all the contents out of the box first before we get started. So let's take a quick look at the installation manual here. It does give you a breakdown of the supplied parts with the bolts, the washers, and everything included, so you can double check to make sure that you have everything in your box included so you know that you're not actually missing anything. It goes through a step-by-step setup process, which is pretty good with diagrams for both the seat clamp and the grommet mount. Now the seat clamp is, as the name suggests, so that it can clamp to the edge of a desk or table, and what's referred to as a grommet mount, which actually goes through the desk, so that does require that your desk have a hole in it so you can mount it. I mean, you can always make one, but preferably you don't have to drill anything. And it has a diagram to show you how to go about that if that's the route you want to go, how to mount it to the actual arm via the VESA mounts, and how to tighten everything up. And it shows you at the end how you can move a single arm and all the configurations you can set it in. That's pretty cool. And here are all your screws. The awesome thing about this is that it's actually very well detailed, and not only is the instruction manual detailed, but the enclosures are all alphabetized so that you can see where you are in your setup process step by step. That's pretty awesome. This should be the monitor arm here. Now it does have a few warning labels, so be sure to take a quick read at those. One of them being, do not remove your monitor while it's in this position or it can pop up and hurt your job. And also to be careful and not remove the zip tie holding the spring together. If you're holding it yourself, it does suggest that you have someone remove the zip tie while you're holding the arm, because of the stored energy, can potentially pop and hurt you if you're holding it with a single arm. So that's important to actually read and to not just hold it like this and cut away, as I was actually about to before flipping it over. Alright, so now that we got everything unpackaged, we can start setting up. This is going to be the main post that both arms attach to. This is going to be the C-clamp that we're actually going to be using. We're not going to be using these, the grommet mounts, because we actually don't have a hole in the middle of our table. So we actually won't be using the grommet mounts. We're going to be using the C-clamp. So the nice thing about this thing also is that you can adjust it. It has 4 holes that you can attach it to in case you need less space, which I did need a tighter fit. So that's kind of cool that you can move it up or down depending on how much space you need. And both the C-clamp and the grommet mount do come with these plastic shrouds to cover it up, so it does look a little nicer. Another thing that I do really like is that the screws and the Allen keys come in their own separate bag, and it's cool that you get extra Allen keys in case you need some. You get to keep these for after you're done. But the first thing you want to do is you want to screw this onto the bottom of your mount. Now, part of the clamp does come attached to it, so to get to the underscrews of the main post, you are going to want to unscrew this just to make it a lot easier to get to these. And the cool thing is actually that this does come with a little plastic shroud so that you can keep your Allen keys attached to it in case you need to make any further adjustments in the future. You have your little Allen keys just set there. That way you don't have to be thinking too much about it. You don't have to worry about looking for them. There they are, right on your post. So these arms do just slide onto the post. And there is a bolt that you have to tighten with your Allen key. And there is at the bottom of each section of the arms, there's here and here where my thumbs are, there's actually screws that tension up or loosen the arm so that you can actually adjust it for less or more motion depending on what you need. You can actually adjust it and move it, or you can tighten it up so that it doesn't move at all. So I'm going to slide the second one on here, attach it, and we'll come back once that one's fully mounted, and then we'll get started on attaching this to the table. Alright, so now as you can see, we do have our mount mounted to the desk, or table in this case. And now that we have this set up, we're going to start mounting the monitors themselves onto the VESA mounts, and then the VESA mounts onto here. One of the things to keep in mind when setting up your VESA mount is you actually do have to find a screw washer configuration that fits with your specific monitor. For both of the monitors I'm actually using for this, it was a different configuration. Not only were the screws different, but I had to use different washers as well. And I actually needed to use the spacers in one of them. So it is good, and they do come labeled on the packaging, each screw and washer individually, so that you know what you might need for yours. Okay, so now that my VESA mount is attached to my monitor, we're going to go ahead and mount it to the arm. So the VESA mount does have a hole at the top of it, so you can orient yourself to know what side is the top and which side is the bottom. It does have 2 top screws that go onto the top to make sure that your monitor doesn't somehow come loose. Once your monitor is mounted, if it's too heavy for the arm in its stock configuration, there is adjustments you can make to make it hold up heavier monitors such as this one. And it does have here on the arm, it does have adjustments, and it lets you know which side to turn to add more or less tension depending on the weight of the monitor. Once you've mounted your monitors to your VESA mounts to your arms to your main post, and your main post to your desk or table, you're ready to set up however you please. So for our personal setup, we're going to be using one side as a gaming/streaming station, and the other side is actually going to be more of a video production area. So for us, this is great because we will be using one single table to be doing 2 completely different things. So for us, this is a really great setup because it utilizes a lot less space than having 2 monitors on their own stands, standing upright on the desk, which did take up a lot of space and wasn't actually possible. But with this dual monitor mount, which is good because it does leave a lot more space than what we previously had without the monitor mounts. So overall, I'm really enjoying this. And if possible, if you want for your setup, you can actually potentially just put them both side to side and use a dual monitor setup if that's what you need. But for us, in our personal usage, it is how we're going to be using it. But of course, this review is more to just give you an idea of how this might work for you personally. Honestly, so far, I'm really liking the Wali dual monitor mount. It does give you a lot of versatility with your setup. You could do a dual monitor setup if you'd like. You can set up 2 different workstations as we've done here today. One thing to keep in mind though is that you do need a sturdy work surface to mount this to. We do have a plastic table and it is a little bit flimsy, so there is a tiny bit of flex on the plastic. It's not too bad and it holds up pretty well, but if you're a real stickler for little things like that, you might want to find yourself a sturdier table or desk to mount this to, because the mount itself is quite heavy, and especially when you end up putting monitors onto it. We ended up fitting a 20-inch monitor and a 15-inch monitor because we don't actually need big monitors, but this does fit up to 32-inch monitors. So if you're using something that big, you might want to find yourself a sturdier table or desk to mount this to. That is one thing we wanted to mention to you guys because it is important. So overall, I think I definitely would recommend this. If you're looking into getting a dual monitor mount for your setup, I would definitely recommend this for the price. I don't think there's much out there that can beat it as far as just going off of reviews online and price. This seems to be pretty well, which is what made us choose to take a look at this one, and it turned out pretty well. So hopefully this video has helped you if you're looking into getting one of these, and if it did, it'd be great if you liked this video, you found it informative. Be sure to share it. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to keep up to date with us and some of our other product reviews that we've made. And as we upgrade our equipment, we will be posting reviews on it. And feel free to check out some of the other videos on our channel. If you're a gamer, if you like video games or card games, be sure to subscribe as well and keep up to date with us and follow us on Instagram. To help support the channel, be sure to visit gamersclub.com to keep reviews like this coming to you guys. Till next time, guys, Gamers Club signing out. Peace.